How important do you think emotional resilience or mindfulness like that is for entrepreneurs?
I think you can still achieve business success, so economical success. And it depends
Mhm.
on how you look at it. I think from a societal perspective, a lot of times success is defined as this business success, economic success. But I personally think that true success is not only that, because if you have a big company and everything is going really well with the company, but you don't have any friends, you don't have a great connection with your partner or with your kids, how successful is your life really at that moment? So I believe to have like a complete successful life, this is a vital ingredient of that. To add to it, I think it's also part of our responsibility towards ourselves, first of all. So that's what I was just saying, but also towards others, to give that to your kids.
So if you face another entrepreneur, maybe they built a business for, a few years already, and they've been having that feeling that they're like still enjoying it and they're like, it's still growing, but there's still that anxiousness or overwhelm. What would you tell them to like be able to know is, should I keep going? Should I change?
It was my feeling that told me that this is what I needed to do.
Well, where I'd love to start is to firstly hear, is there something about you that maybe you don't share with people that much that you wish people knew a bit more about you?
This is a nice question. If you think about this, well, the people that know me really well might know it, but I feel that a lot of people from the outside feel about entrepreneurs. And I've been an entrepreneur for the last few years, and I've had an agency. And I feel that a lot of people have this idea of entrepreneurs that it's not allowed to show any weaknesses, or that everything is always going to be okay. Yeah, I feel that especially for the male entrepreneurs that I know, that it always has to be very masculine. And for the people that really know me, know that I don't care about any of that. I think it's totally okay to show your vulnerabilities, and I also think it shows more authenticity. And I also think it's more fair towards yourself, because in the end, it can be quite tough, the insecurity of being an entrepreneur and the ups and downs. So yeah, I have my soft side, man.
That's beautiful. And how did that show up, I guess, throughout the journey? And how did that develop, I guess, over the last few years?
Well, funny enough, I am now in my hometown, and this is also where I grew up. I'm from the Netherlands, from Rotterdam, and the Netherlands is already, people from the Netherlands are not known for showing their emotions. And especially Rotterdam. Rotterdam is like,
Really?
like a rough city. It's a harbor city. People are expected to roll up their sleeves, don't talk, just do your stuff. So I wasn't grown up in a culture where we would talk about emotions or any of that. And I always thought growing up that I had to perform. And in order to perform, I needed to do big things. It had to be impressive. And when I performed, or if I had reached great things, then I would be good enough to get a connection, or I was good enough. And this is obviously not something that my parents would tell me, but this is more like the culture that we're growing up into. I feel that is the culture we're growing up into in Rotterdam, and talking about emotions is not something that's very normal. So this was difficult for me also, because I was feeling all kinds of emotions being an entrepreneur. So I had to rediscover.
What was behind that, you think?
I think the fact that so I was building an agency together with a co-founder, and we were growing quite fast, and we were hiring all kinds of people very fast. Getting what I mean with all kinds of people, they were not the same as I am. So different personality types, so different triggers to them, but also to me. Also many clients. So basically, it was one big like box of triggers, and more and more triggers were going in there.
How big was the team?
At the end, it was more than 40. And we started 5 years ago. We started relatively slow, finding things out. In the first few years, we were with less than 10. And I already noticed it back then that I felt those triggers, and I became better at dealing with them. But along the years that we were growing, I was feeling something inside of me that I couldn't really put into words, because I was not able to recognize those emotions. It was not something that I had learned from as a kid. So I decided, because I thought being an entrepreneur is stressful. Obviously, everyone knows that. That was in my head, even though it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, that's a classic story.
Decided to work together with a coach, and that coach was also specialized, and I'm still working together with them in
Really?
emotional intelligence. And he really helped me to open my eyes. And I'm still not fluent in that. But very often what happens is that I only send something right after my initial reaction, like jumping into defense, getting angry, getting sad is something I only realize later. But I'm getting better and better at it. And I think that also really helps me to really know how I'm feeling about something and then to act upon it. Yeah, basically
Well,
that.
so you're becoming more aware of the, whenever there's specific situations or I can use the word triggers that would cause some stress. And
Yeah.
that's awesome. What's the
Yeah,
difference
yeah,
between back then and now? Like, have you changed?
Well, back then, I would be more likely to jump into. I didn't take the space between stimulus and response,
Mm.
which is where a lot of power over yourself is.
Mm.
Because if you're capable of taking the space between something that's coming in and then to not respond solely out of emotion, unconsciously, I feel that is when you have a life and communication style that is aware. And of course, I don't think we can ever reach 100%, but I see a lot of people. And also, if I look at myself, especially as a kid, it was just like, pop, and then me directly coming back. Maybe if someone, for example, would push my button by saying, you cannot do that. And that is basically hearing maybe someone from my family back then telling me that. And then little Yvo being like, I'll show you. And it makes sense that I'm feeling that because that's how I grew up. And that's like the what I have in my backpack. But it doesn't mean that my communication has to be all around that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I can step away from that now way better than I could back then. So it feels liberating.
That's awesome. How important do you think emotional resilience or mindfulness like that is for entrepreneurs? Because some people, I think they still can go like achieve like massive external success without working on that too much.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think you can still achieve business success, so economical success, business success. And it depends on how you look at it. I think from a societal perspective, a lot of times success is defined as this business success, economic success. But I personally think that true success is not only that, because if you have a big company and everything is going really well with the company, but you don't have any friends, you don't have a great connection with your partner or with your kids, how successful is your life really at that moment? So I believe to have like a complete successful life, this is a vital ingredient of that.
It reminds me of the. I'll go for it.
Oh yeah, well, to add to it, I think it's also part of our responsibility towards ourselves, first of all. So that's what I was just saying, but also towards others to give that to. Hopefully we can, I can have kids. Hopefully, I'm not sure if you have a wish to have kids, but to give that to your, to your kids.
Especially important.
Yeah.
I was going to say that reminds me of, like what, you don't know, but I'm a pretty big Tony Robbins fan, or at least the quotes that he says. He says there are two master skills, the science of success and the art of fulfillment. Because the science of success is quite obvious. Like you can get to like a business success, let's say, or success in anything, because there's always like a clear step-by-step plan if somebody else has done it. But the art of fulfillment is what people most of the time they forget about, because that's more personal. That's especially important. So now you've
I just wanted to add to, because I find it very interesting. Also because I feel that business success is something you can think. It's something you don't have to feel. It's something you can think. You can say yes, that you've reached that, or no, you haven't reached that. So, but if you're not good at feeling your emotions or feeling anything, it doesn't matter. But feeling fulfillment has nothing to do with what you can think about in your brain. And that's also what you see, because a lot of people that reach these levels, they constantly want to go to the next level if they don't have any satisfaction at that moment. And that is because they cannot feel. They can only see. They're not listening to their feelings. They are only looking towards that next step and hoping that if they reach that next step, then hopefully they can feel. But if you don't develop that, it will be a never-ending story.
So important.
Yeah.
And what I think about is, I didn't share this with you, and I haven't shared it with many people yet, but June was our craziest month yet. Like we talked 2 weeks ago, right? I told you we were hovering around 30K. and we just crossed
Yeah.
50K. It's
Nice.
crazy, insane.
Congrats.
And which is like a very big jump. And I don't know, I still need to analyze and talk with my team, like what the fuck happened. I was just noticing like that whole day that we got, like we made massive jumps, or like, which was last week. And I was also thinking about my emotion. I was like, nothing's really changed. Like I'm not going to spend more money on something else. I will pay my team more because I think that's very cool and fulfilling. But aside from that, like, yeah, if I'm not feeling any happier now, and definitely that's not going to change anything in the future. But I do work on myself and mindfulness and like emotional resilience. I think, yeah, it's just a super cool skill.
Got a cat on your back, man.
Seems like it, huh?
This is very relatable. I also have it that when I'm talking to my laptop and my cat is next to me, that's when she gets crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. They're crazy cats. But yeah, I was just noticing myself I was like, that's very interesting. Like, if anything, I got more nervous because, like, holy shit, now I see more constraints in the business and how we need to grow. But yeah, it was very fascinating feeling.
Yeah.
When was the point for you that you felt like you needed to start working on this?
Well, there were two pivotal moments. One pivotal moment was when I started working on it. Yeah, I don't think there was like I don't think that there was a moment of like big stress or anything. It was more like I had my ups and downs, and those ups and downs became more up and more down. And the ups were great because we were doing great as a company, but then the downs also became deeper. And I just sensed that that was not a happy feeling. I was not being kind to the people around me the way I want to be. So not that I was aggressive, but I was just not very me. I was not like the guy that I know I can be. So I was like low in energy, for example. Or now looking back, I was hiding myself because I was also hiding from any social responsibility because I had so many social responsibilities in my company already. So in my free time, what I would do, I would hide. And hiding could be just being by myself. And I didn't know it. I didn't recognize those patterns at that moment. But I was feeling that I was not being the guy I wanted to be. So I got through a friend that's also an entrepreneur. He told me about a coach. And usually when that guy tells me something, you know, sometimes you have these people around you, when they tell you something, you're like, okay, that is just always going to be truth. So when he told me about this coach, I was like, okay, I have to work with that coach as well. And I was, very, very happy and have been working with him for the last 3 years, I think.
That's amazing.
And then another pivotal moment was when I decided to leave Dapper. So I started 3 years ago working on myself, also working on my emotional intelligence. And even then, the pace of the company was going way quicker than I internally could work with. I was feeling very overwhelmed with all the responsibilities that I was feeling on a personal level towards all the people that we were hiring and also all the clients that we were having. Even though things were going relatively good, we didn't have a lot of unhappy clients. We didn't have a lot of unhappy employees.
Crazy, right?
But still I was feeling that feeling. And since
how much was your business making at that point? Just to give people a perspective.
Our yearly revenue at that moment was, let me see, 2.5 million, I think. So that was
2.5 million, and you were already starting to feel it.
And like I said in our previous conversation, it is very personal because my co-founder was not feeling that. So that's because he has different things in his backpack. And I also think it's a combination of interest because I was the COO and I have an interest in fixing stuff and I have an interest in pleasing people. And the pleasing people is part of my like emotional baggage. And then fixing stuff is also because I like to know a little bit about anything. But it was also not very rewarding because anything I do, only the fixing stuff, and it was usually not huge because things were going quite smoothly. But most of the things were more like a hygiene factor. The things that I was doing was like expected. Only when things go really bad, then people understand what I'm doing. That's usually part of my job, like finance, legal, IT. Finance, you expect that your salary is on your payslip. You expect that we don't go bankrupt. Legal, you expect that we are not getting sued, or that we have a terms and conditions. You expect that we have IT, that we have all our systems up. I'm doing stuff there, but it wasn't really feeling very fulfilling. So, and I was also trying to change some stuff in my work there. But yeah, in the end, I felt also that I really wanted to try something new and go back to creating stuff. And I didn't know really well what that meant, but I just had that feeling that there's so many other things that I can do, and I'm still young. And so yeah, it was basically a lot of things coming together to support my decision.
Totally. So you were feeling it for quite a while as well.
Absolutely.
And you said it was just like, yeah, accumulation and then, yeah. But you must have been feeling like maybe things were getting better if you were working on yourself, though. Like, did you ever have the thought of like, maybe I can work this out and then keep going in the business to keep on growing it? Or was it like just getting this more and more disconnected at the same time?
No, definitely. So I was definitely feeling that I could, yeah, because I'm the owner of the company together with my co-founder, and we were both very flexible and open to changing our roles to make it fit to what we need. And we were doing that. Both our roles changed. So on that level, I definitely have the feeling that I had the liberty to change things. And also on the level, like I started working together with that coach, my ups and downs became better. But it was, I think, that coming together with my role being really needed, the CEO is needed. I would have to find someone else. That's okay. That can happen. Then at the same time, so that's one. At the same time, I was feeling quite overwhelmed still, even though I felt I could deal with it a little bit better. And I also had the feeling like, okay, I may want to do some other things with my life. And I also want to create stuff. And I wasn't creating, I was more scaling, helping scaling the company. So it was like a combination of those three that at that moment I was like, you know what? This is a great moment actually to step out. I've seen everything from starting the company from scratch, building the company to something successful. And now if I'm able to start a completely new chapter, also moving to Spain, which I did, that's beautiful. So
that's beautiful.
At them, yeah, and that was also not a decision that I made very quickly. But as soon as I thought about it and I started feeling like, yeah, this is what I would like to do next, then I felt a lot of weight falling from my shoulders. That was when I felt, yeah, this is what I need to do next.
So if you face another entrepreneur, maybe they built a business for, few years already, and they're starting to, and they've been having that feeling that they're like still enjoying it and they're like, it's still growing, but there's still that anxiousness or overwhelm. What would you tell them to like be able to know is, should I keep going or should I change?
Yeah.
Or remove myself?
So basically then you're looking for an answer, some guidance. And that is also usually what I had hoped to hear from my coach, that my coach would tell me like, hey, you should do this or you should do that. And he was very good. He never told me what I should do.
Yeah.
No, he never told me. And in the end, also looking back, it was my feeling that told me that this is what I needed to do. So I would say, listen to your feeling. Your feeling will always tell the truth. It could be your body, because in the end, it's your emotion, feeling connected to your body. So try to connect with yourself as best as possible. And at some point, your feelings will tell you what you should do. And it might take a lot of time to work on that. And also during that time, you will still be okay. There are many ways how you can work on yourself. Yeah.
Because humans, we always have like, we have different, sometimes conflicting values and beliefs. And that's why these decisions are hard, because we value, let's say, success and maybe financial freedom, but we also value, spending time with family and friends. And so because these values are similarly equal, and then there's the belief that says I must do X in order to get Y, which makes it the decision hard.
And also for me personally, it was like the fear of making the wrong decision. Because if let's say the scenario, I say I want to stop, a lot of things can happen after that. Maybe I get into a fight with my co-founder. Very unlikely. But still, that's not how it works in your mind. You only think about unlogical things.
Yeah.
And or maybe I will regret it financially, or maybe I will, all those things popped up into my mind, and then I froze basically and didn't dare to make a decision. So and that was also because I was scared, and also after making that decision, I felt I let go of that fear a little bit, and that was
That's
also
healthy.
feeling like some.
Did you have a tool or an exercise you did by yourself or with your coach that helped you make the decision?
Well, I think it really helps to talk about it with someone that is very good at listening and not judging. I think that alone, and then on top of that, he has many tools that he probably used to guide me. But only having a conversation with someone that is not only talking about their perspective. So let's say we are having a conversation. You tell me like, "Oh, dude, I'm having so much stress at work." There's so many people who would then talk about something that was stressful for them at their work, but that's not what you need at that moment. And then that is only like the surface, but then you have so many levels on top of that for people to really listen to you, listen to your words, but also to your facial expressions, your body language, and then maybe ask questions about that. Hey, I see that you're closed up. And then for you to learn that that is not a threat when someone tells you that. It's someone trying to help you to uncover more. So there's a lot of layers to uncover, and also with the people that you're having a conversation with. And then one tool that's the easiest ever, but that's never a quick win. That is something that you will get better at in the long run. Is just closing your eyes when something is happening inside of you, when you get frustrated or happy, and then feel, okay, where's that feeling coming from? Where do I feel it? And then just to connect with it for a bit, just taking a pause. So that that is a tool that works for me.
It's crazy, huh? The small tools like just connecting with your body and mindfulness is so important.
Yeah, and then it's not as if you close your eyes and then all the answers are there. No, you still have to figure it out yourself.
It's a muscle as well. Like you said, the part between what is it, stimuli and response. That's a period of time be able to identify and sit with that.
Yeah.
So most people do not get to a peaceful exit, I would imagine, because of the statistics that most businesses do not succeed. So I would love to touch on just like, hear how that went and how did you come up with something that's most satisfying for both you and your co-founder, I guess. Because you said it last week, you said it was a bit of a shock for him as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. So
but he had seen that you were a bit stressed, no? Or
not? Yeah, definitely. Last Friday, like I said, I had my goodbye. So he also gave a speech, and he also said, "Yeah, we saw each other more than we saw our girlfriends," and that was true. Especially in the beginning, we saw each other very early in the morning until also on the weekends. And then later it became a bit more balanced out, luckily. But in the beginning, we were just so fired up. So we saw each other very often. He definitely also saw my highs and lows, and also later. And I shared it with him. And we had and have a great relationship where we can share those things with each other. So he definitely saw that. And still, I was very nervous sharing it with him. Even though we have a great relationship, it is still something that I was nervous about.
Yeah.
But it was a great moment, actually, because I was already staying in Madrid back then, not living there yet. But he came to Madrid, and it was not because I wanted to share that, but because every quarter we sit down together to talk about how did the last quarter go, what are our plans for the next quarter, and we decided it would be nice to sit together in Madrid. So I also thought, okay, this is the perfect moment to share it with him. So I prepared it in my mind, but I just talked from my heart. Like, dude, before we start, I have to share this with you. And of course, everything went well. And he responded very thoughtfully and understanding. And still, can you imagine that your co-founder tells you that he wants to stop? Yeah, that must be stressful for him as well, even though he didn't show it at that moment. And of course, he needed to collect his thoughts. And in the days after, he needed to think also, okay, but how is this going to continue? And also, how does he want to continue? And that makes total sense. But the fact that we were still... yeah. So definitely. And he totally understood. And I also knew that he wanted to continue. So it was up to us to find a way. Okay, what are going to be the next steps?
What was the toughest thing of removing yourself from the business?
Let's see. Well, in the process, I think the toughest part was finding someone to replace me, because it was not only so I'm leaving as a co-founder, and I've been like one of the parents of the company, and people look at me for a lot of things, not only in my role, but also for the culture. So to find someone to replace me being in the spotlight of the company is quite a responsibility for that person. So the person needs to fit with the culture of the company, needs to have the experience to do the things that I did, and then also have the leadership to leadership skills to take that spot. So yeah, that was difficult, but we definitely found someone good. It was actually a woman that we hired, which is
External
I think is
or internal?
external.
Wow.
Yeah, with a lot of experience, but a great culture fit, which we felt from the first conversation. He really stood out, and that really helped me to feel Eddie stepping away. So that made the entire process after that actually quite easy, because I felt very comfortable giving my responsibilities to her. There was after that, it was actually
I bet. Yeah, it's just like hiring anyone else, as long as the processes are in place and the values are aligned.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How did you find this person? Especially external. I would have thought promoting internal.
Yeah, we were thinking about it promoting internally, but we also knew that we needed to go because we were growing quite quickly still. And a lot of the things that we were doing were also new to me. And nobody in the company was doing anything with finance or legal or strategic level. Maybe a little bit on strategic level, we had some managers, but they were no COOs. So we didn't have anyone that really was a good fit for that profile. And we wanted to hire someone that has taken some of the steps that we are about to take. They have done that already. So we are quite active on LinkedIn. So we posted some stuff which got a lot of response. We worked together with a recruitment agency, but the funny thing is that the way that we got connected to her was through a person that kind of knew her and kind of knew my business partner. And he saw the post and he was like, "You should connect." So it's funny how those things work with networks.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a coincidence, but also not, because if we wouldn't have been active on LinkedIn, then we would probably have never found her.
No.
And she would have never found us. But it took months, sending a lot of messages, looking in my network, asking people. So it took a lot of time, but it was the best way.
Lots of interviews.
Because, so many interviews. But it also helped us because it really helped us to get a good feeling and sense what we needed.
I bet. Yeah, especially hiring for a role that's going to be there for at least a few years. And if you're wanting to have this role that's who's going to bring in more experience and grow the business, then very important.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's maybe not as important for you, but what's the vision for the business now? Or what is your co-founder want to take it?
The vision for the business was and is that we are, I still say we, because I still feel connected with the company.
Yeah.
For the company to be, as an agency, it says a lot, like revenue and people size. I think it was 50 million in revenue.
That's the goal?
So to be one of the bigger agencies in Europe, and then maybe also in the US. But geographically, it's not as if it has to be the US or it has to be the EU. EU makes sense because we are based in the EU. So more in the sense of size and impact.
Awesome. So potentially competing with the Vayner Media. That's just the agency that comes to mind. But,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's huge. Yeah. And so I'd love to know, I mean, probably not applicable to most people, but it is an interesting thing to know, like, how do you structure an exit and what do you pay yourself? Like when you're exiting from a co-founder, instead of just like selling the business to like a VC, what does that look like?
So it was great that this was possible also because it allowed me to step out without having to stay, even though I wanted to leave. So I can't share all the details, but the things that I can share is that this great relationship was also a great basis for talking about our agreement, even though that's still difficult because we're talking about a contract that we need to sign. We're talking about financials. So that's always going to be difficult. But because normally in the last 5 years, we both had, in Dutch, we say we have the noses in the same direction. And this was the first time that our interests were colliding. because of course my opinion of the company's value is as high as possible, and for him it's as low as possible at that moment. So that was it was interesting, an interesting part where we came out of that. Yeah, great.
Interesting.
Very happy about how that went in the end. It could have gone way worse, like you said. It could have led to a conflict. Definitely,
Yeah.
and I can see that happening for other founders. Definitely.
Did
No,
you?
unfortunately, I can't. But
That's okay. That's understandable.
yeah,
The,
but it did help
was it
me
like?
to start a new chapter and have some financial freedom to
Awesome.
take the time and space for myself to think about what I want to do next.
Are you taking some time now, or are you already onto the next thing?
I'm definitely taking some time off, and I have done that already. Like in the last few months, having 2 months already. Yeah, I haven't done anything related to work,
Awesome.
so that's great.
How did that feel?
Great, and I so needed it. I had felt as if I was sprinting. I trying to sprint a marathon, so I was like so exhausted at the end, and I could finally let go, and only then I started to really rest and to see how exhausted I was.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and now I am starting to pick up on some things. Like I started my own newsletter. I want to start creating some videos. So, like I said earlier, that I want to start creating stuff. I want to discover my creative side a bit more. Maybe that's the direction I want to go in, but I'm open to anything.
Yeah, you'll see. Did you know that how you feel now would be such a big difference, and I guess in your level of being, let's say, turned on, and that you would feel this much more relaxed?
No, it was quite a surprise to me. It's funny how it works, because in the moment, that is like the baseline. That's the norm.
Yeah.
And to get a good sense, like it's so difficult. Like let's say you put let's say if we could put a thermometer on how I feel, and then we can put a number to it. Only then I think we can really tell what's the status, or something like that, and then compare it to years. But it happens like so incremental that is very difficult to tell. Yeah, and it was things like more like external things that helps me to see how I was different from what I was usually like. And it's usually are things like how I feel inside my body, but also how I react to people. If I'm trying to escape from people, then I know, okay, I am feeling a bit overwhelmed maybe.
Did your family see the changes? Or other people around you?
Let me see. That's a good question. I think my family, not so much. No. I think the people who were really close to me, they could tell. I think that also colleagues. I was also close to my colleagues, even though in my position it's sometimes a little bit awkward to share with your boss. Hey, dude, you seem little bit on edge.
Yeah,
but some people did, and I was glad that they shared it with me, because that also allows me even. Yeah, it also helps me to regulate myself.
Yeah, and probably most people will not tell their boss or their team. It depends on the culture as well, but still, I can always be a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's also where the Dutch part probably comes in. Like we definitely had a Dutch company culture, which was sometimes.
Oh yeah,
and we also had a lot of international colleagues. So for them, it was maybe a little bit weird in the beginning, but to say things to each other without going around the bush is that's definitely Dutch.
Yeah. I'm very familiar. My other guy in the sales team, he's half Dutch, and he always talks about that, like very direct.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Super funny. Awesome, man. So now you're taking some time for yourself, focusing on developing that creativity, which is super beautiful.
Yeah. I always thought about myself as not being creative. I'm not a creative person. That's what I would tell myself. I remember a few years ago that someone told me, they basically told me, dude, that's bullshit. And they recommended a book to me.
Which one?
I think the name is The Creator's Way. Let me double check. I want to, because yesterday I was talking.
The Artist's Way.
The Artist's Way, yes. Yeah, that's the one.
Heard of it. Did you do the exercise?
And yes.
It's like a book with exercises, right?
Yeah. And also the daily morning pages, so journaling, and then also going on an artist date. Wow. And that also helps me to reflect also on whatever I did in the past. I was always very connected and interested in the more logical part, because it allowed me to say, yes, this is true, or no, this is not true. And that's something I felt comfortable with because I could train my mind to be better at that. That's how I felt. For example, computers, very yes or no, true or not true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anything on the creative side, there is no truth. It's whatever you feel like. Do you think this is beautiful? Yes or no? Or maybe your girlfriend asking you, which dress do you like more? I've already felt uncomfortable with that because it's just my opinion. I cannot say if it's good, this one is good, this one is not good. So it goes, the layers go quite deep, and that makes them very interesting to discover. And maybe I'll end up being like the super creative person at some point. So that's definitely something I want to spend time on and see how we can develop that.
How has the book helped you so far?
Well, it first of all opened me up to try and I'm still a guy that likes structure and systems a lot. So it helps me with a system and just to change my perspective. Yeah, that's the start. I started my newsletter. So that's something. I have to start my thinking. Right. And then I have to start creating my videos, of course. But I feel that process is ongoing. Yeah, I'm really, really into it right now. So
just taking the time.
I see it's going in a good direction.
That's awesome, man. So it just really highlights the power of like taking a step back. That's what I get from this conversation, taking a step back and to reflect and then reassess who are you and what's important for you. Bring out that creativity.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, there's this Buddhist quote that I love. Let me see. Let me quickly look it up. I think I can find it. Yeah. Yeah, it's about, so it's a Buddhist quote by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Buddhist. And he's talking about seeing someone on the street. He sees a man on the street riding his horse. He asks the man where he's going. He's going super fast into a direction. And then he says, I don't know, ask the horse. And I feel that says a lot about also today's society a lot, that a lot of people are rushing. That's it. And they don't take the time to reflect if they are going into the direction that they really want to go in. And they just are okay with being busy.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, very important to remember where you want to go.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. I think this conversation provides a lot of perspective on what's important. Would you do it? Would you still do it over again if you could?
Yeah. I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
I've met amazing people, and it was a great experience. I always said, and I love these kind of questions, like what would you do if you have unlimited money? What would you do? Yeah. And I remember that I answered that question, let's say 10 years ago. I would like to build my own company. And I did that. So naturally I would, if I wouldn't have done it, I would have done it anyway at a later stage.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you need to try things to figure out that you can do it, even if it's not the long-term thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I might have thought when I was younger that it was close to impossible and that I would need unlimited money before I was going to be able to build a business, but it's definitely easier than that.
No. Yeah. It's just all about taking the first step.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
We're pretty much at the top of the time. Is there anything else that hasn't been mentioned that you would want to tell someone who's considering exit or needs to get this other perspective?
I think what is great if you're considering an exit is to take the time, make sure that you also share it with the people around you, because I felt that I had kept it inside of me for way too long. I felt that I needed to deal with that myself before I was ready to share with others. But I think it's great to share with other people because it also helps you to, in that process of sharing, it helps you to process it within you. So to understand how you're feeling about it. And maybe the other person can give you a sort of perspective or can tell you how they feel that they are, they can share something about the feeling that you're having or the reactions that you're showing. It can only help. That.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yvo. If a person wants to see your newsletter and follow your creative journey, where should they find you?
I'm on Substack, but the link, you can also find it on my LinkedIn page.
Amazing. Yvo Wander. Links will be in the description. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar. It was a great conversation.
Awesome.